A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Take the bird in your hand. You're not going to get in my bush. Hi, welcome to this edition of Middle-Aged Millennial MILF Podcast, also known as MAMM Podcast. I am your host, Sarah Strickland. Today it's going to be a solo episode, guys. I know. Had a lot of guests lately. Been very blessed. Also, check out my hair. I just got it done. So Colère in the neighborhood fired me. This will be a story I'll tell on the podcast, don't you worry. But they did me a favor because I went up the road and it was a lot cheaper and it was better. And I'm going to say it. The hairdresser I had today said my hair was a mess. Period. So thank you, Kiki. Love you, girl. All right. So let's talk about my summer vacation. I was in Istanbul and Greece. So much happened that this is just going to be about Istanbul. But let me just say, I never wanted to go to Istanbul. This was never on my list. I mean, I love that song, Istanbul is Constantinople. I've always loved that song. But I don't think I even knew it was in Turkey, or all I knew about it was Marcel from 90 Day Fiancé was from there. He talked about how amazing it was. And I think in my mind, I was like, it can't be that great. So we were going to do 6 weeks to begin with. My husband and I were like, let's travel. Let's be those people. And then we were like, 6 weeks is a long time. So we only did 3 weeks. So we did a week in Istanbul. And Drew was watching a lot of videos and was like, look, we don't want to have rollers. They have the cobblestones, they break. We need to carry everything on our backs. So he got the special backpack. He got the kids' special backpacks. I had a backpack and a duffel. And I was very impressed. Like, I filled that duffel because I also didn't think I was going to find anything in Turkey. Like I said, I did no research. I knew we watched a video and this girl did medical tourism and got her hair done. And so that's why we were going to go. We were going to go for the medical tourism. We were going to get these scans and do all this stuff. And then we talked to our doctor and we were also looking at it. It was $3,000 and you got like a hepatitis test and like an AIDS test. And I know I don't have either. You know what I mean? I've been in a committed relationship for 15 years. I've been also tested when I have my kids and I don't think either one of us has cheated since then. So it was just a waste. So we ended up kind of just going to Turkey to check it out and to hit the dentist. So we got everything on our backs and it was heavy to begin with. We get to the airport and all of us are already miserable. And I got back at a Panera cinnamon roll, which Panera, go you. Oh my God, I was at Panera and then my brother got a Panera job. Sorry, that's awesome. And also we had so many flights. Every flight we're taking lately is a connection. So we flew from Phoenix to Dallas and we got the kids some food and we waited. And then we had to fly from Dallas to Atlanta. And then we were going to leave for Istanbul the next day. It was a fine hotel. They had a restaurant in it, at least. We were happy about that, but they messed up Beckett's burger and Drew was having stomach problems. And then the next day, our flight was not leaving until like 9 o'clock at night, which sucks. I'm just going to be honest. The nighttime flight sucks. But we like lived the airport, it felt like, all day. Like we got there, I don't know, when you have to check out 11, noon. And we go through security and there's a Burger King and it's insane. Everyone is at this Burger King. It's like there's all there is to eat. There's a few other things, but like that's it. So I had to wait for that and it's a fucking madhouse. And finally we're ready to it's getting close because we knew it was an overnight flight. And what happened when we went to the Maldives is we just slept on the flight and it was great. This one we had premium economy. So it was not as nice as the business class. So we all were going to kind of change into comfy clothes, brush our teeth, and then kind of settle in. We're getting ready to go in the family bathroom, me, Drew, and Beckett. And this guy cuts us off to go into the family bathroom. And we were like, oh no. I knew exactly why he went in there. A man does not run that fast for a family bathroom unless he's got a turtle head poking. So we're like, God damn it. But we all needed to go in there and change and wash our face. It sucks doing it in the group one. So we waited 15 minutes. I don't know. And then we go in there and it smelled horrendous. And all of us are just get it changed fast. Brush your teeth. And Drew's like, I'm just sitting here inhaling this guy's BM. And I loved that. Inhaling a BM was lovely. So that was a great start. And then we got changed and I'm sitting and I actually started reading on this trip. I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy, which all of you know my mom died on this trip. So I was reading it after she was dead, while she was dying, it was kind of all of the above. So lots of symbolism. And this was also when I was getting all the emails from the funeral home. It was like, you need to sign this. And I was like, I'm not getting caught up in her shit. I'm not doing it. Not doing it. So premium economy, it was nice. I mean, luckily we had like a row of 4, so it was a 4 of us. I like made it really weird and like went across instead of, I make shit weird and make it more difficult than I need to. But I could not sleep. And I was so pissed because I saw this little girl in line and she had one of those headphone things. And I used to have one of those. And I was like, that is so smart to wear on a plane because I listen to pink noise. So I'm like trying to sleep with like one earbud in or like my headphones. And the only good thing is they had TV on this. Like I've been loving, I normally don't sit and watch TV anymore. I used to be a TV gal, like Drew and I watch an hour a day. So I am just tickled pink when I get to sit there and have nobody needs anything from me for however many hours. And I can just watch Titanic. I don't know if Titanic's the best choice to watch on a plane, but I mean, I did it. So we get to France. That airport sucks. It sucks so bad. Charles de Gaulle. Like, I'm so glad you have a Louis Vuitton in there. Maybe have some fucking food because I was stuck eating butter, ham, and Swiss sandwiches. Like, that's what they had. There's like all these sandwiches and like some snacks. The kids were miserable. There's nothing to do. It's so boring. And we were stuck there all day. And it just sucked. And to be honest, I don't even remember the flight to Turkey. I kind of do, but I just remember sitting outside like hot, tired. We've been traveling for 2 days. Everything is so fucking heavy. And we finally got in and we got our ride and we pull up on this road and this guy's like, oh yeah, it's up there. Get out and go up there. And we're all like, okay, here's where we die. Thanks. But we talked to somebody and it turns out that was our Airbnb. We had a little apartment. It was so cute. We were like, I don't know, 2 blocks from that main street. So it was nice and quiet, but it was close to the action. And we had our own room, the bathroom, and then the boys slept in the living room and they had like a little half bath and a kitchen. So this was our best setup, but the air was in the living room. So Drew and I were quite hot and a little miserable. The boys were too cold. So we all got there at like 3 a.m. and then we all like just went to sleep. And Drew and Beckett woke up earlier. Walker was out. Walker was just sleeping. I got up and we went and had lunch at this restaurant that was like right up the road. And it was funny because the owner of the restaurant, like there's pictures of him everywhere. And he looks just like our friend Lee Reedy, LT Ryan. And it was like he was Turkish Lee. And that's what we kept calling him because it was so, I just love this. Everybody was so fucking happy over there. Everyone was just so happy. And like this guy owns a restaurant and he has like a seat that he puts out front, like a, whatever, a throne, let's call it a throne. And he just like interacts with the people. And this is just his life. Like he's not trying to be Gordon Ramsay. He's not trying to have all these restaurants. He just has this one and his buddies come and hang out. Like, and I think, because we really analyzed it while we were in Turkey, because we're like, everyone is so happy. And I mean, they have a dictator too, just like we do. He's having the military there just like we do. And everyone's happy. But I realized that here we have the fucking American dream. The American dream is bullshit. And the game is rigged against all of us. But all of us, like they're dangling. They're just dangling. Come on, if you just work a little harder, you can get a BMW. You can live in that neighborhood. And I feel like in Turkey, it's like, cool, my dad owns this restaurant. I'm going to work at this restaurant. Like, if I get to go see the world, cool. But everyone's just content. Maybe we all need to move to Turkey. It was so amazing, I have to say, that I was like, okay, shit goes sideways while we're gone. Like, I'll just stay in Turkey. I would ask to like, please, can I be a refugee in Turkey? Because I just loved it so much. But Walker did not. Our teenager, he had jet lag. He didn't listen to us, so he slept. So finally, we got him up for dinner that night. He was like bitching. and we found him a restaurant, and we all liked it. And I got the spaghetti because I didn't also realize, since it's so close, I guess Italy adjacent, that there's a lot of Italian food. So I got spaghetti. And then he was asking Drew, he's like, oh, do you want some meze? And I was like, oh, I'd love some olives. And he was like, I go, no, I want the spaghetti too, but I also want the olives. So I get my spaghetti and there's olives in the spaghetti. I was like, is this just some weird thing Turkish people do? Like olives? Okay. But then we figured out that when I said the olives thing, he thought I meant in the spaghetti. And I'm sure he was like, who is this crazy American bitch? What diet is she on that she wants olives with spaghetti? But the spaghetti was delicious. Other than that, I enjoyed it. And I love to, up that road, it's just all this counterfeit stuff. Counterfeit purses. The counterfeit Labubus were my favorite because I had read before how popular they were. And those were ones that they would not haggle with. They knew what they had, because I went and bought some aloe hats that were clearly knockoffs that you can't tell. And they had the Labubu. And I was like, how much is that? And he told me, and it was like $20 American. And I was like, oh, so the hat's $5, but the Labubu's $20. I was like, I see it. Like, I can appreciate the hustle. And he kind of laughed, and like, we had fun. And I did end up getting a counterfeit Labubu at the end. But spoiler, the first day that we all went out, we were going to do a food tour. We decided that's what we're going to start doing. When we get to a new place, the first day we'll do a food tour, because then also those are the people that know where you should go, what to avoid, all that kind of stuff. And the chick was it was this like couple of friends that were my age, a dad and a son, us, and then us. That was it. Okay, yes. So we liked it. We went and like to the market, and we got stuff for a Turkish breakfast, and we went to this place and had the tea, and the kids actually liked the Turkish breakfast. Walker, there was some clotted cream, and you eat it with their bread, and everyone loved. I had a neck fan. I thought I was so smart, and I was, for the record. Everyone was holding a fan. I had my neck fan because I'm middle-aged and walk in Arizona in the morning. So I felt really like, I'm sure I looked old and not cool, but I felt cool because I had the fan. Then what did we have? We had like oysters, and we went to this big bazaar, and I loved it. And she was like, yes, my husband left me during the COVID and like was divorced, and talking about it. And later on I went up, I'm like, I've been divorced too. It's okay. Like, life goes on. It's okay. And I said, and we also have a dictator, because she was very anti their government. I was like, we also have a dictator too. So I get it. Because I also wanted everyone to know very clearly that I did not vote for Donald Trump. Our family is liberal. We are not MAGA. Like, I just wanted to make sure that I was as obvious as possible that we were not those people. And hopefully they would take pity. So if people asked me where I was from, I was like, America, I'm so sorry. And some fucking redneck would listen to that and be like, why are you apologizing for being for the U.S.? Like, because it's fucking embarrassing and it's turning into Nazism. So I would apologize. And they're like, oh, no problem. Like, they want the American money, so they weren't going to shame me. But I was like, I'm sorry. I don't like it either. It's so weird. And then I also had the best kebab there, because we took the ferry over. There's the English side and there's the Asian side. And the Asian side, you took the ferry to, and we had the best kebab there. And we were like, I found a bag I wanted. So we knew we had to go back. And we did later on. But it was just so cool riding the ferries. I'm not used to that. We're landlocked. It's Arizona. So I really loved riding the ferries and meeting these people. And it was funny because the father and son that were with us, he's like, oh, he's my travel buddy and he's applying to colleges. And they kept asking Walker about college. And he was just kind of like deer in the headlights. Like, Walker's day to day. Like, there's no 5-year plan. Walker's day to day. I love him. But I was kind of like, oh shit, people are like, I'm sure he kind of was embarrassed, but it was also kind of like, well, if you want to go to college, like, you got to start writing those essays. He was just so miserable. He didn't like it. And we asked him, like, what don't you like about it? And he's like, everything's wet and there's too many people because they would keep spraying down the streets. And he didn't like the food. And he kept ordering like American food places. But I mean, they're doing their best. It's not how it is here. So he didn't like that. But the next day, we went to the dentist, City Dental in Istanbul. I've been talking to Melissa over WhatsApp, and she got us in, and it was like the quickest cleaning. Like, he got like, it was good. And then I was like, do I have any cavities? He said, you kind of have the start of maybe one, like, but it won't give you problems for a little bit. So just keep an eye on it. So I got out and they were still doing Beckett's teeth. And I like felt with my tongue, I was like, there's a hole in the tooth. Like, this isn't going to be a cavity. This is an issue. So I went back up there and I was like, I can feel this. We need to get this taken care of while I'm here. This is why we came. So they're like, all right, cool. Come in the next day. And everyone else was good. They checked my retainer, said it was good. Beckett was good. Nobody had anything wrong with me. Of course, on brand. And then that day I was so excited because we were going to go to the salon. And I was like, this is it. I was going to get extensions. I was going to get all these beauty treatments and I was liking it. And then we got there and the guy didn't speak English, which I'm in Turkey. It's not like, but I can't communicate with the guy doing my hair. So I have to like try to wave down the interpreter for the salon. And we agreed to do I did a Brazilian blowout because I've always wanted one. But like, he was being rough. And like I said, I couldn't talk to him. And then it looked like my hair was breaking and I was going to get a haircut. And I was just getting more and more mad as I sat there. So at the end, they're like, oh, what do you want? And I go, nothing. I want to pay. And he goes, are you happy? I said, why do you think I'm happy? I told you I'm going to have to go somewhere else to get my haircut. I owe them an apology because I got back to the hotel and I realized that it was a brilliant Brazilian blowout. So whoever you were, I am so sorry. I can fully admit I was an asshole. I'm sorry. It was wonderful. So if I go back, I don't even remember what that place was called, but you did a wonderful job. You're very talented. I mean, I got my hair cut and done again. So it doesn't have the Brazilian blowout anymore, but he did a really good job. And so the boys had gone back because I'm like, go walk them and get him some food. And Drew and I were going to go out alone. And I walked back in a city, a big city like that, walked back. And it was before we went, everyone's like, are you sure you want to go? Because, the bombing of Iran had just happened. And we're like, yeah, well, I walked those streets by myself. I felt fine. I was not scared once. Nobody tried anything. Like I was in the middle of the city. I loved it. So Istanbul kicks ass. And I go home and Drew's like, oh, your hair's really like, straight. And I was like, that's what I want. I liked it, but I put on a hat and looked good. And then we had dinner and that's when I got the call. The lady messed up and had left a message for my mom about my dad, but my mom was already dead. So I was laughing at that. And we went and got a pedicure. But I kept making the mistake too. I made the pedicure appointment at like a nice hotel. So we were not getting like these great deals that everyone claims for Turkey. We were getting like the same price you'd pay in America, which is better than paying more. But with inflation and stuff and it taking off, everybody's going there. And Drew got his first pedicure and it lasted a really long time. So she did a good job and that was worth the money. And then we had that good dinner. Then we walked the street and that was so much fun that we walked that street that night because that's when Drew got his suit. He's always wanted a suit. And there's just this men's suit place. And the guy was so helpful. He clearly was like the store. I can always tell when it's like store manager energy, like store manager energy recognizes it because I'm like, okay, yeah, this is the store manager. But yeah, he got in the 3-piece suit and then Drew's like questioning. He's like, look good, man, just get it. And he had it tailored and stuff. And it was like $150 for 3-piece. He got a shirt, he got a tie. When you got a good deal in Istanbul, like you got a good deal. And then I got like twist ice cream for like $1. So how I would kind of liken it, like the food and some of the stuff is like America in the 60s before all the fillers and all the shit that they're putting in there to make us sick. Like I didn't have to worry about any way while I was over there. Not one flare up because they don't put that powder in everything. So thanks, Istanbul. I really liked it. But no, and the Istanbul McDonald's was actually really delicious too. You have to try it when you go. Like I know there's all this food and we tried all the Istanbul food, but like there's a part that you just need to compare. I need to know. It's not my fault. So the next day, I'm like, kids, do you want to go to the dentist with me? And they're like, no, we don't. So Drew and I went, and I wish I took something to sedate myself before because I had it, but I didn't think I should take it. And we get there, and he's like, oh, I'm going to have to give you a shot for the cavity. And I was like, do you have nitrous? And he's like, no. So I like held the girl's hand and I was like, fuck it, we're doing this. So I held her hand and he got the shots here are like big metal and it just looks like they're going to torch you. This was just normal syringe. And he like put in all the numbing stuff and I'm like, keep it coming. Just keep putting the numbing stuff, little more. So he's like, that's all I can do. I didn't feel the shot at all. Like, it was amazing. And he was so like getting it. And then he'd go back and he'd smooth it. Like, this was a very, he really put his time and effort into this filling. And I really appreciated that. And it was $50. Like I said, when you got a good deal, like $150 suit, a $50 filling, like it was amazing. Drew couldn't get over it. And then there was this restaurant over there that he wanted to go to that Bourdain had gone to when he was in Istanbul. So we went and took our picture and stuff, and we kind of saw some more of the city. And it was just beautiful. There's 16 million people there, but you don't feel it. You don't feel like the packed in. I mean, there's times that you do, but it was not bad. I liked it. And then, oh, poor Beckett got sick. He puked, I think I remember. And then he was, oh, yeah. So that's why he stayed. And then we signed up for a ghost tour there. And clearly they don't do them a lot. Like, we had to go over to the other side of the town, and Mehmet was our guide. He was so funny. It was just the four of us too. He's like, it's a private tour, which even better. We went through it was more of a history tour than like a ghost tour, which I guess all ghost tours are history, but this was like a long time ago. Like, he took us to the mosques, and they were talking about how this king told them to like kill all these people. They killed like 30,000 people in this room. And I'm intelligent. I'm dumb sometimes. And I legit thought like they were mowing them down with a gun. And the guy's like, they didn't have guns back then. I'm like, this was all with a knife. And then I also misheard and thought there were just two soldiers. I'm like, two soldiers killed 30,000 people with like swords? And then Drew's like, there were way more. I swear to God, he only said two. So we're like, the haunting is like 35. So these are really old ghosts. But it was cool to kind of hear the history of the city, you know what I mean, and the different empires that had taken over. And there was a bathroom by the mosque I had to use, and that was just a hole in the ground. And he goes, are you going to use that? I go, I don't really have a choice. So I went in. Luckily, the airplane gives you like a wet wipe. So I used that and was like, thank God I didn't have to take a shit in this hole. And the Met kept smoking, and it was cracking me up. And then he took us to the last place, and we're taking a picture. And I even thought like, oh no, that was the other thing. You know how you have the EMF, whatever, it's fucking bullshit. But mine was going off constantly. Like, to the point where I'm like, am I haunted? Like, no one else was going. And I know that these read like electricity and stuff, but like, it was just mine. So maybe I had a touchy one, but also I was kind of convinced I may be haunted. And I saw a ghost in New Orleans that I just got back from. That'll be another episode. So I may be haunted is what I learned at that one. So we're at the last place, and I set my phone down. Like, there was a half wall, and we were standing next to it. And I even thought, I'm going to leave this here. And guess what I did? I left my phone there. We got maybe, I don't know, 500 feet. And I was like, oh my God, I left my phone. And Mehmet looked panicked. Like, this poor guy was like, we got to get back. It'll get taken. And it was still there because it was also a khaki case, and it was over a khaki wall. And like, you'd have to be right there looking. So I was like, Mehmet, we're good. Like, I got it. And I felt better. I was like, thank God poor Mehmet couldn't handle it. And then we're walking back from the ghost tour to a hotel, and this guy passes by, and the boys notice he drops like a brush. And they're like, oh, you dropped this. And he's like, thank you so much. And like comes over and is like talking to us, and like starts like trying to clean Drew's shoe, which was a tennis shoe that was like knit. So I was like, what is happening? And I thought, I'm from the Midwest. And I was like, oh, we helped him out. He's just trying to do something nice. I think people will do something for nice. I don't understand. It's going to cost money sometimes. So we're standing there, and all of a sudden Drew turns to me and he goes, I'm getting scammed. I was like, fuck no, we're not getting scammed. Like, if I was going to honor my mother in any way, I was going to Rose Peterson this. And I look at Beckett and I go, oh my God, you have to pee. We got to go. And I just started running with Beckett. And I was like, he has to pee. We got to go. So we're running. And Drew's like, keep running. I thought this guy was chasing us. I was like, oh my God, just throw a 5 at him. But apparently he didn't. And Walker and Drew turned around and saw the guy like, be like disappointed. Like, we figured it. You know what I mean? I don't know if he knew we figured it out or he just didn't get money out of us. But Drew was like, that was good thinking. I'm like, the Peterson brain, when I turn it on, I was like, we need to get out of this situation as quickly as possible. Plausible deniability is our son is going to pee his pants, because what monster would be against that? So I was really like proud. So we got, I guess, attempted scammed. We didn't give him any money or anything. I mean, I hope he got some money that night, just not off of me. And then I also kept using my mom's death as haggling skills. I was like, can I get this hat for less? My mom died. This would just really make me happy. And the guy's like, that's weird. And my Drew's like, no, it did. So that was fun, almost getting scammed. The next day, Walker was like, I don't want to go anywhere. He was really like pissy. So we were going to go to Karakoy. That's where we had taken the ferry, the Asian side of the city, because there was that bag I wanted to go back and get. And it's so cool. That's the other thing about Istanbul is there are cats everywhere, and we love cats. Like Beckett kept saying that there was like a Turkish Calypso. It was a cat that looked like our cat Calypso that passed away. And then we were like picking him out, and they were so friendly. But this one cat got on the ferry with us and was like hanging out, and it made a stop. And then our stop was a second stop. So everybody started getting down off the ferry. And this cat got down and like wove its way in between all of us. And it got off at its stop. Like it waited, and the guy like tied the ferry to the boat, and it like petted him. Like he got pet by the guy, and like this, he does this all the time. Either he was going home, he was visiting a friend. I don't know. I wish I got it on tape because it was the cutest fucking thing I've ever seen. I hope that kitty's happy. I got my bag, although I did not haggle them down. These young men were like, no, and it was like 25 American dollars. I was just being cheap. We didn't find anything else. So we're like, cool, we'll walk that street tonight. Well, the street was just closed. This is where like the dictatorship, like apparently they were going to do a pride parade down that street. So the cops and military closed it down. So we also, at this point, we're like, we cannot carry these backpacks around. Like that was part of what was really just putting everybody in a bad mood, was everything's on our backs and it hurts. So we're like, here's what we'll do. We'll buy 2 roller suitcases and then figure out the rest. That street's closed. So I'm like, where the fuck are we going to get a suitcase? And we're looking for the few ones that are open, and none of them are good. And then luckily I was so happy because I was able to find some. And we knew what we wanted to pay. And I said, oh, we're looking for this. And I was ready to leave. I'm normally not a great negotiator. He's like, all right, fine. He got it. So we got the luggage for I think it was like $20 American. I don't know. But I was like, dude, it's a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. Take the bird in your hand. You're not going to get in my bush. The other thing that the kids, Beckett, all he wanted to see was there's like the Turkish ice cream guy, and they do like tricks on you. And so when they did it to Beckett, because he's Beckett, he's crazy, I filmed it. And then we went back, and the guy's like, can you send me that video? Like he was some young teen guy. I was like, sure, he's adorable. And that night we decided we were going to eat at Salt Bay, Salt Bay restaurant. And it was so good. I thought it would be kitschy, but it was like the best steak I've ever had. The burgers were amazing. The staff was really great. There was a little baby that I kept like looking at. And then I had a cat that I was feeding that was my buddy. And then this other cat like came and attacked him because it wanted my food. And I was like, no. Then we went down the street that like led up to the Galata Tower. And it was so cringe. Like these influencers were sitting there. We got dessert. And you just see these girls like filming the same video all the time. And in that moment, I was just like, I don't care about Instagram ever again in my life. Like if that's what I look like, I'm done. And we had the best dessert too. Like I got some red velvet thing. Drew got something, but the kids had the best milkshakes that they've ever had. So the last day in Istanbul, we were really, really like, yeah, like food. Walker finally had like turned around and was happy. And I think it's because we were going to Greece the next day. But we were bummed. I really, really loved Istanbul. I can't explain it. It just felt amazing. And that they have all that stuff and the medical tourism and the food is all homemade. And like I said, everyone's so friendly, and you're walking or you're taking public transport, and it's just so neat and so different than anything that we're used to. And I think that that's kind of what Walker didn't like either, was it's not what he's used to. So we were kind of like talking him down, and we were going to get food the morning we were leaving, but we didn't. And that was a mistake because Drew's like, FYI, the Istanbul airport is really scammy. So we get to we're flying to Mykonos. We get to the airport and we're hungry, and there's a Burger King. And you order on the screen and it's not working with our credit card. and no one is like making eye contact to help us. And it's expensive, I might add. Like a burger is $10. Like they are absolutely raping you there and they know it and don't care. So I'm like, can someone come help me? He's like, I can't come help you, but I can ring you up here and you have to pay cash. We gave him the exactly what we had typed in. He typed it in wrong, was rude and went away. And I was just livid at this point. And then they finally get the food and I had wanted a large drink and he had put in a small. I go, but I told him a large. And she goes, not my problem. And I think that I was like an exposed nerve with everything with my mom going on and stuff. And I was like, you're treating me like an asshole. I didn't even think, it just popped out of my mouth. But after she said that, I go, fuck you, like walking away. And I was like, whoa, because I mean, I'm a bitch, but I'm normally not like a confrontational bitch like that. And lo and behold, when, they messed up my food. So I didn't say fuck you at her. It was more like I was turning and just saying it. But I had to go back out there and be like, you guys messed up my burger. And she fixed that and made me a new one, thank God. Like, I was ready to contact corporate. Like, we spent $85 on Burger King. So it was not, we were just done. And that was really the only bad thing about Istanbul. Like, I thought this would be a longer episode. It was just, you have to experience for yourself. If you haven't thought of going to Istanbul, go. Like, it's beautiful. They have the old mosques there. We did not go into any of those. We saw from afar because we're not religious. But and like I said, everyone is happy. And when they like are driving and they're like honking, it's more like toot toot, like pay attention. It's not like here where it's like, fuck you, I'm going to murder you. And we need to unlock something is making Americans really, really angry. Well, I mean, we know why. But even the American people are really angry. You won. So I was really... Oh, that was it. Oh, man. Okay. So last night we were there. I forgot about this. This was my favorite. I was really hungry and I wanted just like some shit food. So I went to this place and was going to get like a Chick-fil-A. It was almost like a Chick-fil-A sandwich. It's called like Joe's and Burger or something. But I'm talking to the guy and he's like, oh, America, I love Trump. He's done so many things for Syria. And I was like, oh, well, I'm not a fan. He's done this and that for Syria. So I was like, cool. Now we're dropping propaganda on Syria, clearly. But I was like, I so appreciate that you have had a much different experience with this than I do. And I'm so happy for you. But he took that as us saying we're from America as like we could get him in. Cause I don't know, he brought over our food and then he's like, I work 2 jobs and this and that. And I make, I don't know, $8,000 or $3,000 a month. And if I went to America doing the same thing, I'd make $20,000 a month. And I'm like, no, dude, you wouldn't. But also I was like, I can't get you in. Like, why are you like saying this stuff to me? Like, I'm sure you're a hard worker. That doesn't mean I can get you into America. I mean, I'm sure it's better than Syria, but I was like, what the hell? Like, you're a super nice guy. But I was like, I can't get you into America, sir. Yeah, I can't wait to go back. And I have to say, as far as like the trip went and stuff, it declined. It was still fun, but like as far as like what we loved, Istanbul was the top between that and Greece. It just, I don't know. It was just more of a city for us, I guess. And it wasn't even, I love the tourism and you can get plastic surgery and stuff, but it was just the people and the food and the energy of that city. It's so nice to get out of your bubble, the American bubble with all of us with the same problems. And it was nice to just go over there. I wouldn't read the news. I just wanted to be in the present and not have to be thinking about what was going on here. And I implore any of you that are thinking about it to please try out Istanbul. Like I said, it was beautiful. The people were amazing. Most of them spoke English. It wasn't dirty. It was fairly clean. Let's do some Greece, guys. We were pissed the fuck off from the Burger King. Like, I was done. And we got to Mykonos and we found a taxi, no big deal. And he took us to a restaurant because the ferry was across the street. But it was like wall-to-wall traffic and Mykonos. Everyone loves it. Wall-to-wall traffic. I couldn't see one building. Like, it just looked like a desolate desert. Maybe we weren't in the right spot. But we had a pretty good breakfast across the street from the ferry. And then the ferry was a clusterfuck. They don't have signs anywhere. People are just converging. We don't know which, like Drew was like, it's this ferry. And I went and asked and I told it, like I said, they said this, but then he didn't believe me. And then Walker was getting upset. And then he and I like were fighting and like he got all frustrated. And I was like, grabbed his arms. I'm like, don't hit me. Like, I didn't think he was going to, but emotions were high. Emotions were high. And we got onto the ferry, but we had assigned seats, but nobody was sitting in the assigned seats. It was just a free for all. So and then it's like moving and like we have all these bags. And so we sat down and they had food and I went and got these amazing donuts. They were huge, dipped in sugar. And it was so good. So I got one, Becky got one, Walker said he didn't want anything. So Walker and I sat down and had a conversation because he and I, when we're stressed out, we react very similarly and we kind of explode. And, I said, like, buddy, you're bigger than I am now. And this can be scary. You know what I mean? You could hurt me. And he's like, I would never. And so we like hugged it out and I gave him my donut. And Drew's like having the time of his life talking to people behind us. And I was like, I'll just up here, mother, or you're making friends. I was just pissed off. But we made it to Syros. And after Istanbul, Syros was so special. It was so special because we went and it was just this little, it's not very well known. A lot of local Greek people go to it. And we get up to our like Airbnb and we're walking and Maria's waiting for us. It's Maria's Airbnb. And she like took our luggage and she loved our boys. She's like, sit down. She got us water. It was her house. She also owns one by the beach and was like, if you need anything. And it was just what we needed. We needed someone to mother us and be like, it's okay. We'll take care of you. And she had a washer and dryer. We could do our laundry. And it was just so cute. Like that first night we had the best Italian food we've ever had at this restaurant. And the shopping there was such a good deal too, because I was really upset. I thought I was going to get skincare in Istanbul and I didn't find anything. And I went into this drugstore in Syros and this woman was there helping me. And I was like, I just kind of want something new. And she got me this Greek skincare. It was like buy one, get one free. She hooked the boys up. Like everyone there was so nice. I got shoes for like $20 that would have been $80 anywhere else. I got a t-shirt for $6. Like the prices there were amazing. And then we went to the beach. They had the beach too. You had to take a taxi and it was cold, but I mean, the beach was there and we sat and we got a little chair and the boys played and I got seashells and stuff because I'm 5 and I still really enjoyed that. And then we walked because Maria had another Airbnb by the beach. So we waited there and she gave us this like croissant filled with Nutella. It changed everyone's life. It was amazing. And Beckett was like changed. Everybody just loves Beckett. That's the other thing. Beckett, just the red hair and how he is and how polite he is. And he was just the hit. Maria loved him. She kept giving him stuff. It was really sweet. And then there's this restaurant. I can't even say it because it's in Greek and they don't have a website, but it was like a hero, but it was covered in cream. I have thought about that meal every day since I got back. Like it was so good. The food there was just so good. I'm not a foodie. And then the last night, because Drew had watched a video of this place called Ciel. So it's at like the bottom of the mountain and you can just swim. Like you can order and then swim. But it was nighttime. So we walked down there and it was just so cool. It was all lit up and it's like this bar on the water and you can see the whole city. And she brought me nuts. And I think I was a little high at the time because I kept saying how beautiful she was. And then I was like, I'm sorry, that's uncomfortable. I'm not hitting on you. Like just all the Greek people were beautiful. If I could have lived on Syros, I would. Like everything but her bathroom was really good. The bathroom wasn't good. That took some getting used to too. All us and the kids and the European bathrooms and all that stuff. So we were so sad. Maria came and it was time to go. And this was the other genius idea that we had is we moved like every 3 days. So we had to pack up everything and move it again. And God, it sucked. But we were taking the ferries and I much prefer the ferries because TSA like stresses the shit out of me. And this second one was like a speedboat. It was like going. And this one did have assigned seats and they were being really like about it, And there's this lady in our seat. I'm like, move. Finally, she moved and then she like found a seat by them. And she's like, oh, someone took my seat. I'm like, oh, like you took our seat. So luckily they kicked her out. But that shit just pisses me off. Follow the rules. You had an assigned seat when you got on there, go sit in your assigned seat. How hard is that? If we all follow the rules, it goes a lot smoother and everyone's fine, but you like wanted your special treatment. So when she left, I was like, you fucking bitch. And I made sure to tell anybody around me that she took my seat. But I at least got a sugar donut again on the ferry. And like I said, I didn't have to go through TSA where they check my bag because I get pulled every time. The next place we went was Naxos, and that was like our beach one. And it was just a little town on the beach, and they came and picked us up, and it was this guy, and I think his parents owned the hotel. Like I said, it was just so neat because everyone there was just content with their lives. He wasn't like, I need to be a TikTok star or I need the hustle that is America. This was my family owns this. This is my life. And they're all content and happy. So maybe people need to fucking settle more here. I don't know. And it was a little touristy, so things were a little more expensive. We had the worst breakfast. We went to this breakfast place and they had Pepsi and like nothing I wanted to eat. So I had water. I made the best choice. I had the best breakfast. Drew, it was like eggs with like a square of cheese on it. Like not good. But I enjoyed the beach and it was a little, like I said, touristy. We got the front, we got 2 seats and he's like, you can't bring outside drinks. So I like smuggled a Coke and I was really proud of myself. But then we're listening to, it was like a group of friends. I don't know, but the husband was like getting pissed at the wife and she just was not paying attention. And I was just loving this whole scenario. I was just enjoying it. The kids were playing on the beach. I didn't want to get in the water. It was cold. And then there was like this cool French family that I was obsessed with too. She had on like a thong. I was just like reading, like just walking, like reading a book, like level cool that I will never be. And then like beautiful family. And then she was like sitting, reading her book, drinking a beer. And like, I was just like, this is the coolest family. Like I love my family, but they were cool. Then I saw someone look just like Joe Carey. I was really hoping it was Joe Carey, but I don't think it was. But he was also wearing Doc Martens on the beach, which was a choice. And I saw a lot of Speedos, too many Speedos. But it's 55 euros to get these chairs. And people decided not to do that. So they just put like blankets or beach towels out. And then this little girl like ran over one of the girls laying there and got sand all over her leg. And I was like, that's why you should have spent the 55 euro. It's a lot, but hey. Nobody ran all over me. And then, so I had gotten the counterfeit Labubu. I knew it was fake in Istanbul. I also didn't know what a real one looked like. But we're in the grocery store at Naxos. I'm getting some Coke. And they have Labubus there. They just had them in, and these weren't counterfeits because the counterfeits are in the box, everything, like legit. So I got a Labubu in Naxos. I was so fucking excited and it was real. And then I got another one. And then Drew's like, no more Labubus. So I tapped out at 3 on that trip. But I got 3 Labubus. And I know, I don't care. It's not going to be worth money. I read that that's a cool thing right now and that famous people have it. So you know what? I wanted one too. And I give a shit. I'm a bandwagoner when that stuff comes to it. I'm a Labubu. I don't know what to tell you. The next day we were like, we just needed a day of rest because the night before it was our room, the boys' room, but like you walked into the boys' room, a kitchen, and the bathroom, and in the bathroom it had a pipe. You could hear this baby crying in another room at night. And Beckett, he gets really weird about noises, and he's like, "There's a baby crying, this and that." So I closed the door. I'm like, "You can't even hear it." And then we went around the corner, Walker, Drew, and I, and we're like, "Oh my god, it's so bad, you can totally still hear it." Luckily, he went to sleep. So we're all tired from the baby crying. So we just rested. And then Beckett wanted to go to this pizza place. And we're sitting across this, like they had the seats across the street. And he's terrified of bugs, like terrified. He had like this panic. He's like, ah. I'm like, do you want to move? So he moved us and everyone was watching. And I was like, oh, buddy, I'm sorry. I filmed it. I'm sorry. It was funny. I knew he was safe. We saw some ruins. I don't know. It was pretty. I mean, I didn't really care. But you know, we went. And then the last ferry was my favorite. And we were going to Santorini. I already told myself, like, Santorini, whatever. I don't, it's so touristy and stuff. And it was funny because we got we had a ride to the hotel and the mom and daughter from New Zealand were there. And the mom had the same shirt I had bought in Santorini. It was like, sorry, I went crazy. It'll happen again. And I was like, I got the same shirt. And just talking to them. And her daughter, Annabelle, was getting ready for college too. And then I felt kind of bad for Walker because we kept being with these like teenagers that are like ready for college that are like doing these big jobs and Walker hasn't even thought about it. So I was like, I'm sorry, buddy. But Santorini was so cool because like you go up and it's like on a mountain. So it's like these little caverns. And then our hotel looked like we were in a cave and we had a hot tub and all the blue and we went and walked. They had a McDonald's. Like Santorini was actually great. I really liked it. I mean, you had the influencers. Like when I see a girl walking and someone's filming her and she's like, like that was kind of cheesy, but like she didn't get in the way, whatever. You do you, boo. And then Zach, if you're listening, remember when you said that Walker was poor because he had never been to Disneyland? Well, now he's been to Disneyland as well as Greece and Turkey. Where did you spend your summer? That's right, not Santorini. So in Santorini, they had the same face stuff, and it was actually on sale. So I went because Beckett also, his favorite thing that he discovered in Naxos was this frozen yogurt called Chill Box. And they call it Chill Box because they put it like in a box so it's not cold on your hands. But he loved it. We had to get it like multiple times a day. So we were on our third Chill Box trip, and I was like, I want to go look in that pharmacy and see. And they had my stuff on sale. And I like paid and I set my phone down, and I got back and I realized I didn't have my phone. So I like ran back. I'm like, oh, I left my phone. And she was like, oh my God. And it was still here. Like everyone kept being shocked my shit wasn't getting stolen because apparently it just does. So I got very, very lucky. And then a lot of these influencers too are like proud of their sunburns. It's not a tan. Like you just got skin cancer. I don't know. I'm a pale princess. The McDonald's in Santorini was so good. You wouldn't think. And then we got souvenirs there that were great for everybody. Like Santorini, way better than I thought. I loved it. But it is funny because like the stores that are big there, like Tommy Hilfiger and Guess, and it just seems like I said, it was kind of like they're just behind. And that's okay. And then I got my period while I was there. Oh, first time on the trip, and Drew was so sweet and bought me tampons. European tampons are a little weird. I didn't like it particularly, but they worked. And then we're in line at Santorini to go to Athens, and there's this annoying French family ahead of us. Like one of those where they're not paying attention to the line is moving and they're like on their phones, they're holding up the line, them or like they have to go. There was also an airline called Wizz, W-I-Z-Z. That's weird. I would not want to fly on Wizz. Like, I'm taking a flight on Wizz. Like, what? It's so weird. Why did you name it that? We were not on Wizz. I don't remember what we were on. But then the French people get to the front and they're checking their bag. And one of like the daughter seems like she's, I don't know, going to pass out or something. So they sit her down, once again, holding up the line. And there's a woman, hand to God, sitting in a wheelchair waiting with a fan. The mother of this French girl grabs this lady's fan and just starts fanning her daughter, like didn't ask. And I was just like, did you seriously just take a fan from someone in a wheelchair? Because your daughter clearly did drugs last night and now she's not doing well. Like, come on, this is not, she's ill. She's hungover. She took ecstasy. I don't know. But you can spot it a mile away. And I was just like watching this, like, God, I hope these people are not going to Athens. Luckily, they were going back to France. So we're sitting waiting, and then we're going to get on the plane, and these girls are ahead of us, and they're like, and it was funny because it was a flight to France. That's what I think those people were on. They announced it like 8 times. The flight is leaving. We're waiting for people, blah, blah, blah. Finally, the flight leaves. So we get on ours. These 2 girls tried to get on our flight that were for that flight. They announced it 8 times looking for these girls. And they're like, this is the wrong flight and your flight already left. So then one of them's like calling her dad. Like, can you imagine getting that phone call? And so then I was scanning it and I was kind of I was like making fun of them. I'm like, oh, we're going to Mykonos, right? And she's like, I'm like, I know it's Athens. They're idiots. I love making fun of stupid people. So we got there the first day. We were going to do a ghost tour the night before we left. And we're like, you know what? We have to leave at like 6 a.m. I don't think this is a good idea. So we booked a tour. They had a Hard Rock Cafe. So of course we had to go to the Hard Rock Cafe for dinner that night. And then we went on this tour, but it was like modern crime. And it was this guy, Seraphin. He's putting himself through college. And it was just really neat because the ghost stories, are normally kind of older, but this was more like they showed us where Nazis had people in Greece. I didn't even know Nazis were in Athens back then. And it was kind of like a memorial now. And then there was this boy, this 15-year-old boy that got killed by the police. So now every year they do a protest because they don't have kids getting killed every other day like we do in America. We can't keep it up. They had the one and then they made some reforms. So I was like kind of like irritated with America where I'm like, cool, like one boy gets shot here and everything changes. And we're like, no gun control. Like, God, fuck you, Republicans. Fuck you so much. And your fucking guns compensating for your tiny cocks. They also told us about like hooligans and like how don't wear like sports stuff in Athens, you'll get killed. And then there was a poor hate crime of a cross-dresser. Like it was just really neat. And then he showed us where like the serial killer had been. So it was cool to see that side of Athens. And he was so nice because it was another private tour. It's just the 4 of us. So Beckett had to go to the bathroom and there was a bakery and I was like, I want something. So I'm looking and I'd set my wallet down on the counter and I kind of walked away and the lady that works there, she goes, is this yours? I go, yeah. She goes, don't do that. Like she scolded me and it was sweet that people kept looking out for me because like I said, I'm very naive sometimes and just put that out. And I'm like, oh, that won't happen to me. Like I'm that person. It won't happen to me. And someday it will. So I need to take care of that a little bit better. And yeah, the best part too about Hard Rock Cafe, though, there was this British guy that brought us Cokes, and he's like, 2 Cokies. And like, we loved it. We just loved it. You get a refillable Coke. So the next day, I didn't feel good. I had my period. Drew was going to go on this food tour, and the kids didn't want to go. I'm like, you know what? We're going to take a day. You go. And he went and had like the best time. He was with his family, and like they took him in, and he was like feeding the dad. They found out he's an author and they were getting his books. Like, had a great time. And then he brought us home a McDonald's. So he's so sweet. But I was glad that he got to do that. But Athens was dirty, and Athens felt scammy. And that was one where I was like, I don't particularly like this. I felt safer in Istanbul. And luckily we were only there 3 days. And then we did the Acropolis, which was just this huge ass group. And we had this young girl, and she was cute. And I was like, oh, I should set her and Seraphin up, because they both do tours. I was like, oh, that'd be adorable. Then there was this little girl, probably Beckett's age, to be honest with you. And she was a little twat. She did not listen to her parents. She kept falling. She kept knocking stuff down. She would walk ahead. She was bothering the tour guide. The tour guide couldn't even give us half the tour because she was talking to this little kid. And the mom I hate when kids are being shitty and the mom's like, like, as my kid, you see, no, they're not cute. They're fucking annoying. We're talking about what a shitty parent you are. So you can, all you want, but like, this girl was a twat and annoying, and all of us thought it. Then we're like looking at the big Acropolis, and our guide's talking, and this woman, like in black, I don't know, was like just standing next to our tour guide. I didn't know what she was doing. If she was trying to get a free tour, was she a hooker? Like, it was weird. Then these people just walked up in front of our tour guide and took a picture. Like, it was a free for all. And then after that, we were going to go to a museum, and that little girl was going to go. And I was like, oh my God, don't want her to go. And then we're all kind of talking about, like, that lady that was standing there. Apparently she worked for them. I don't know. It was really weird. Like, wear a vest or something. We just thought you were some fucking weirdo listening to our tour. And luckily the little girl didn't come. So I don't know. Maybe her parents realized she was too much. But I do hope they had a conversation with her, because she was so annoying. And I can say that because I am a mother of 2 children, and my children are not annoying because I raised them not to be annoying. So you're welcome, world. And then that night we were just done. Like, we got McDonald's twice, and we were ready to go. And we had to get up super early, and we flew to France, and we luckily we went in the lounge. Beckett loved the lounge, so that was better because there was better food there. But we go down, and Drew gets a text right before we're supposed to go on, and we're business class. Gets a text before we get on, and something's wrong with Walker's ticket. So we go up there. It's taking forever. Everyone's boarding before us. And I'm like, that's the whole point of wanting to be business class, is that you get to board first. But cool. So I go through. I'm selected for extra screening. The SSSS. I got it. The kids are on it. I'm like, my children are over there. Like, they have us by a partition. I'm like, just stay there. Then Drew gets selected. I'm like, so you selected both of us and have our minor children over there. So she's like, can I look at your bag? I'm like, yeah, what fucking choice do I have? Yeah, fucking look at it. My kids are over there. And then I like try to grab, she's like, don't touch it. I'm like, what? Just fucking search. So they searched me, found nothing. I don't even know why. Then Drew and I got on. So I was just done. I was done. I was livid. I got on that plane, and they offered me champagne, and I don't drink, and I fucking took it. I was like, I haven't had a drink in 6 years, and this is it. And it's funny because there was a lady in front of me, a white lady. She turned over and she goes, not that I care. I'm just curious. You haven't had a drink in 6 years. Why now? And I was like, because they pissed me off, and it's free. So I like drank some of it, and like, little did I know Air France was the least of my worries for flights. But at that time I was pissed. But it was so sweet because Drew and I were in the middle, and then each boy was on the side, and they had their own little pod. And I looked over, and Beckett they gave him slippers, and he took off his shoes, and he had these big slippers on. And then he like put his bed down. And he was like, I took a 10-minute power nap. And it was just, he was like looking at the map. And I love my kids. And I kind of love observing my kids when they don't know, and just seeing, choices that he makes and stuff. So it was cool. And he liked it. And we got to Boston, and Boston was fine, but we really didn't want to do anything. Like, we were going to go to Salem and stuff. And we're like, we're done. It was too much. So we are leaving Boston finally, and we had to go Boston, New York to Phoenix. Cool. We had an afternoon flight, and the plane's kind of late getting there, but we had like a 3-hour layover. So we're okay. We're okay. Somebody else from Phoenix goes and asks the guy, yeah, you're okay. The plane got here. There was no people on it, just crew. So it should be fast. Then they had to do another check. Then they had to do another check. Then we're getting close to not making it. So we're flying JetBlue. So JetBlue had some seats open on our flight. And we had to wait until they sold them. Oh, that was the other thing. In the airport in Boston, there was this woman from New York, and she wanted to go home. I can't, but just nonstop, so loud. And I think in my head, bitch, we all want to go home. And guess what? I still have to go home after New York. You're done after that. Shut the fuck up. She was standby. She's like, I could have driven home, then fucking drive home. I was just so done. And we're in the air and everyone's missing their connecting flights. And we get a text that our plane was taxiing. This is also JetBlue. They could have called them and been like, hey, can you hold the plane? They had 8 of us. I have 8 people that were on that flight. They all knew we had that connection. Nothing. So we're down in line and I'm furious and I'm fuming. And then all of us Phoenix people are getting together. And I was like, my mom died and this other guy's mom died. So 2 of us were trying to get back to dead moms. So we're in line and they're like, you be our spokesperson because I love being a bitch for everybody. So I go up and I'm like, this is dumb, blah, blah, blah. And there's nothing they can do. The next flight they can book us on is literally the same flight the next day, which was fucking 5 at night. So I'm like, cool. So they're going to put us up in a hotel. We got the 5 towns in. Everyone else gets a Hilton. The 4 of us get a 5 towns in. So we get our stuff and they're like, okay, your call, and they'll come pick you up, the shuttle. So we calls and the shuttle lady's like, we were just there. You're going to have to wait till 9. And the kids were done. We were all on the verge of tears. It was too much. And 9 o'clock rolls around and the shuttle's not there. So I call. I'm like, you said it would be here at 9. And she goes, I said it left at 9. Blah, blah, blah. So just yell at me. So I hung up the phone. I was like, what the fuck ever. Finally comes, picks us up, driving. Then he flips this mad bitch and goes around. I thought something was stuck. No, we had to pick someone else up. So he could do that for them, but not us. So I'm on the phone with JetBlue, bitching them out. At this point, all I want is my bags checked for free. I'm livid. No one will help us. And this poor guy is trying to help and it's not working. So we go check in and I'm talking to the lady. And she's like, you won't believe it. Some lady earlier called and she was mad at me. It wasn't my fault. And then hung up. And I was like, some people these days. And we go around the corner. I'm like, it was me. She's talking about me. But I was nice in person. So she didn't, I don't know why I'm whispering on this, but she didn't know it was me. It was totally me. And we get the bed and I find that there's a dispensary, JFK dispensary. And I'm like, I need to get out of here. So Drew and I leave the boys in the hotel room. They're safe. We go to this dispensary and it's one that's not even open. This guy, I think he used to sell drugs and now he's just going legit. But I loved him. He called and let us in because there's no sign. We're in an industrial park. And I was like, well, this is where I die. Let us in. He gave us so much stuff. He gave us cookies, gummies, a drink, this and that. And he said the price and we were joking. And we're like, oh, we have €1 left, €100. Would you take that? And he goes, you know what? Today I will. And he took the €100. Then he walked us out and waited for our lift. And he's like, you ever seen a pink pineapple? And no, we had not. So he gave us a pink pineapple. It was just, that really helped. So JFK Cannabis, if you are in the area, go to JFK Cannabis. He will hook you up. I left a 5-star review. Then we went back to our shitty hotel. All that was over there too for food was Popeyes and a Burger King. The Burger King was actually pretty good. And so we just ate lots of Burger King and hung out. There was a Costco because I was like, you know what's really stressing me out is that we have all these bags to carry. And I said, if I didn't have to worry about Beckett's bag and stuff. So we went to what's it called? Costco was walking distance. We went and bought some luggage and all of us had a roller then. We're like, fuck this. And they checked the bags for us. And we go to the airport and we're waiting. And then there's delays and it's raining and they put us on the plane and I'm like, okay, we got this. They take us off the plane because of weather. And I was like, oh my God, I am going to lose. If we have to stay here another night, I am not good in situations I'm not prepared for. And I was like, I'm done. I can't fucking handle this. And I'm sitting next to some young dude whose dad's a pilot. So he's on the phone. He's like, I know we're not getting out of here tonight, blah, blah, blah. Then some woman behind me, her daughter starts screaming. Her daughter's probably 21. And I thought she was dying. I don't know. It turns out she like spilled coffee on herself. But then the cops came and talked to her, and that seemed weird to me. So I decided it was like a drug situation. I was like, I think she's on drugs. Then some poor young gay guy across me, he was panicked. He took some pills too. He was just not having it. But we got on the plane. We made it home. And we decided we don't want to go anywhere for a very long time. And Walker left his bear in New York. And I'm super sad. Honestly, I was more sad about that than my mom. Because like he's 16 and he's growing up so fast. And as long as he still had his bear, it was kind of like, well, a little bit of my little boy is in there. But once he logged, like I called everything, they couldn't find it. I'm just so sad. But Greece, amazing. Istanbul, amazing. JetBlue sucks ass. I mean, that's pretty much it. I hope all of you had a wonderful summer vacation. And don't forget to make today your bitch. I'm Sarah Strickland.